Right, hello everyone, welcome to this stream. It's Friday the 5th of December. We're just going to do a weekly review of what the market's done this week. Obviously, pretty frustrating week really, if anything. Especially from what we've seen early on in the week. Where's Monday? Obviously Monday had so if we go to DXY first, from the weekly outlook, this was clearly our draw on liquidity to begin with, like outlined. If we go to the hourly to see a bit clearer, we obviously had the push down on Monday from the new day opening gap. As mentioned, it tapped at 6 a.m. Monday morning, then pushed down, and then literally reversed the whole move in New York session. So Monday was essentially a consolidation day. If we look on EU as well, consolidation day. Tuesday, we had a bit of messing around, chopping around all day really, same on DXY. And the reason why we didn't buy EU on Tuesday was what I highlighted in the daily chart section. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullish candles in a row, and if we go to the low probability conditions and we look here, is that overextended daily / weekly candles? And if we go back to trading view, that is what we essentially had. So straight away I didn't want to buy gold, even though we had a perfect setup on gold. No, sorry, not gold, on EU on Tuesday. It was perfect because we had a stop run of this low here. We created a 1 hour order block after, and this was inside the 4 hour fair value gap. If we look here like so, and as you can see, we never actually had a body closure below this. So what I had every temptation in the world to long this with stop loss below the low and aim for the high, which would have been a nice 3R, but as you can see, would have got stopped out. So I'm happy I followed my rules in this sense, because if I didn't follow my rules, we would have took a 1% loss, which would have been annoying because it would have been a loss that could have easily been avoided. So I'm happy that we avoided this loss on Tuesday. Obviously Wednesday we woke up and we just expanded like crazy. If we look at GU as well, absolutely just flew. One pair we could have traded on Tuesday though, what was very nice, was USD CAD, because obviously DXY wasn't overextended because we only had 2 bearish candles. So on Tuesday, all we done on DXY was we had a stop run of this high here inside the new day opening gap. So once we rejected here and traded lower, if we go to USD CAD, we had the daily fair value gap, as you can all clearly see. Obviously, I know we took out this low, we had daily fair value gap, but like I said, if you have a bias on DXY, you can look to frame a bias on currency pairs. So if your bias is bearish on DXY, you wouldn't be looking for USD CAD longs. If we had a stop run of this high, and then you either could have entered here after the order block was made, or you could have waited for us to close below the 1 hour fair value gap. And I didn't watch this simply because I was focusing on EU and GU, because I did think there was a chance that DXY could run higher. So I wasn't actually looking for USD CAD. I was more looking for GU and EU sells. But obviously DXY didn't confirm this. That's why we didn't get anything. So if we go back to USD CAD, it was quite a nice trade, which would have played out nicely. Let's see the chat quickly. No, nothing in the chat. And then that brings us on to Wednesday, where we took our first trade of the week, which I've already done the breakdown of. So hopefully all of you have watched that by now. But this was a very valid trade we took on Wednesday. Obviously, if we go to the 15-minute, the entry was here. So yeah, I really like this trade that we took on gold, even though it was a loss. This is the thing that a lot of people struggle to understand. When you're trading, obviously you're going to take losses, you're going to take winners. The main thing is, when you take a loss, when you're journaling the trade, if you have your rules next to you or on a screen, and the loss ticks every rule, like you've followed your risk profile, what you need on the higher time frame, what you need on the lower time frame, all that sort of stuff, then it's a good loss. And the thing is, a lot of people struggle to accept losses, but it makes it easier if you have a set of rules and you have data confirming that over a period of time, say 3, 6, 9 months, if you have a period of data that you can say, okay, my strategy, how I trade is profitable, that makes taking losses a bit easier, because I know, yes, we took a loss, but I know I follow my rules. So if I do that over and over and over, I know in the long run, like you've all documented from May until now, this point, it makes me money. The way I trade makes money. So it gives you that bit of confidence to repeat the same process over and over. So here, like I mentioned in the video, stop run, we had change in order flow, we had the 15-minute with closing above this inverse fair value gap, which was everything we wanted to see. So like I mentioned, we have everything you want to see. There's nothing more we possibly could have done on this gold trade. We're obviously in the daily fair value gap, so like we have a high time frame, we have a stop run, change in order flow within the right session. So there's literally nothing. We have a London, it was the London low of the day. We just didn't get the follow through after taking out this high. Maybe the only thing I could have done better was after a stop run of this high, and you see a big wick close like this, you could have potentially closed the trade, but that's always hindsight afterwards. But to me, this wasn't a bad loss at all. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to get to here. What I'm trying to say is, when you follow your rules, taking a loss isn't a bad thing. It's a good loss. And I know it sounds so backwards, like you're losing money, but that's a good thing. It just doesn't sound right. But it's what you need to understand to become profitable, essentially. Because if you, tweak the rules, and should we be taking profit as early as it seems we're in profit and give back? Obviously this one here, we were only up, what were we up? We weren't up that much. We were up 1%, so I'm not going to take profit at 1%. But if we go to this trade, obviously we were up nearly 3R. So yeah, potentially that is something I need to look at. Maybe when we get to 2 hour, take 80% off and put stops to break even, maybe something like that. But we'll go over this trade in a moment. But yeah, that is the breakdown of this trade. Do we have any other questions here? Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done. Taking a loss in trading is so much easier to say than it is to actually do. And that's where, obviously, we had the chat about last week about buying a 5k account. That's where if you buy a 5k account, you have actually got to deal with the emotions of trading. Whereas if it's just forward testing or back testing, you don't have to deal with the emotions of actually taking a loss, because even though it's a 5k account, it will still affect you a lot differently than how a demo account or back testing or forward testing will. If it's forward testing, you just go, it is what it is, sort of thing. But that brings us on to the gold trade, which I'm yet to post the breakdown. I do need to post the breakdown of this trade. But obviously, we're in the daily fair value gap, like you should have all seen from the previous day before. We had a stop run of this low. We obviously came down lower at 5 a.m. UK time, and then we then closed above this down close candle that obviously we ran the low here, but then we ran the low again. And then once we closed above this down close candle, I seen that as an order block, which, as you can see, we did hold as an order block. So we had a stop run inside the daily fair value gap. We closed above, creating a 1 hour order block. And I put my stop loss where I did, because if we look on the 50-minute, the line's already there, we had a stop run of this low here. So I was expecting, I basically didn't want this low to be taken out, because this is essentially a strong low, because we took out a weak low and then traded up higher. And as you can see here, we did trade up higher. We created a small 1 hour fair value gap, and also we had a bullish order block. We then traded down lower, nearly hit stop loss, then traded up higher, retraced. We then made a stop run during Asia at 1 a.m. and then we had a really, really nice response from here. And this response was from this 30-minute propulsion block. Down close candle, up close candle. There's your order block. Retest the order block, close above. This is now this candle here. So once this candle forms here, once we close here and we open this candle, this is now your propulsion block, which is this candle. So as you can see now, we are still respecting the propulsion block quite nicely. On the, obviously this is a 15-minute, but it's not a 15-minute propulsion block, it's a 30-minute propulsion block. So ideally, we respect this propulsion block and go up higher. And we traded up to 3R, which was nice at the time. I thought, oh yeah, this is going to take out this high here, because I was just going to close at this high. I was going to tell you all, I have an alert on here. I was going to, as soon as the alert went off, I was going to tell everyone I've closed now. But then for some reason we got 50, obviously 50 pips for gold is not a lot, but 50 pips away from target, and within half an hour we just absolutely melted. 30 minutes, 500 pips to the downside, which came out of nowhere, to be honest. I honestly don't see any area. Only thing I see is the 4 hour rejection block. I don't see anything other than the 4 hour rejection block that is up there that could have potentially sent price low. We do have the 15-minute order block here, but I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was a delayed reaction from the news, because we did have news at 3 p.m, which is this candle. Obviously, this could have been the manipulation, and this could have been the real move. So, yeah, it's very annoying because this would have been a nice 3.36 hour trade. And like we just said about in the chat on Zoom, maybe something we could do is take in profits earlier, or maybe aiming for a fixed risk reward like 3R, because on my stats, if we go to the trading journal, on my journal, the statistics are my average risk to reward is 2.8. So if we aim for a 3R here, we would have obviously took a win and closed out quite nicely. So that is definitely something I can think about. Might be good to journal max unrealized gains versus realized gains. So when you mean that, do you mean like what we were up in the trade and then the final result of the trade? Is that what you mean by? Yeah, so then, that could be potentially something I could add onto the journal to basically see how we can basically capitalize and maximize profits. So it was quite an annoying trade, and I have moved my stop loss to this low here, which is minus 0.16%. I may even close before the weekly close, because right now this looks like it's just going to take that low. So we're not, if we do take a loss, it's a nothing loss. It's 0.1%. Like, it shouldn't affect anyone unless you over risked and for some reason this is like 2%, but that shouldn't be the case on anyone. So this week so far we took 2 trades. Obviously one is a loser. There are one other one still going. We have a potential to be another loser as well. But I'm overall quite happy with the performance because I followed all the rules. I've not overtraded, not broken any rules whilst trading. So I'm actually quite happy with the performance. The only thing I potentially could have improved on is, like we just mentioned, is maybe because we're in drawdown, just locking in 3R. But that's, hindsight's always a wonderful thing, because if this just absolutely took off and started flying, I'd have been annoyed with myself. So it is what it is regarding this sense. But like I said, we're not going to lose more than 0.16% on this trade, because there is a possibility this could just be manipulation. We could trade up a bit higher going into the daily close, and then next week we continue going. So that's why I also want to leave this here just in case that does happen. No chance I'll be taking a full stop out now after being up this much. But it's been a good start to December. We literally couldn't have done anything about EU or GU. Like, this setup here obviously occurred out of session, but EU overextended anyway. GU, we had a stop run here, like again, it's at 6 p.m. We don't trade 6 p.m. because that's out of all sessions. USD JPY, not really covered this, but there wasn't anything clean here. Only thing I could have maybe potentially done better was the USD CAD here. Maybe also yesterday after we had a stop run of this high, but we're in the gold trade, so I'm not opening 2 positions on this with this both USD in. Personally, I don't want to do that. So for me personally, a very good week. Does anyone? Every trade we took this week was A plus opposed to November. Exactly. That is something that I spoke about with one of the members. The only way we're going to get out of this drawdown, whether we get out of this drawdown in January or February, is by taking A plus setups. There is no other cheat code, shortcut, whatever you want to call it, to how we're going to get out of this drawdown. The only way is A plus setups and following the rules. And we'll get out of this drawdown quicker than you can imagine, because in the past we've had a 10-hour month, an 8-hour month, a 7-hour month. All we need is either one of them big months or just 2 5-hour months, and we could easily get a 5-hour month in December and be up 5-hour, and then we've still got 5% of the drawdown to recover, and that's it. So yes, it's frustrating, like we've not took a win in a while, but we're following the rules, and that is the most important thing for me personally. And I hope you guys are all understanding the process I am currently going through, because I promise you now, at some point you will go through this stage already. We still have 2 more trading weeks left, so I've put a cap on myself now, maximum minus 2% a week. So the maximum we could have is another 4 losers. That is the maximum we could have regarding the downside. However, we could also take 3 trades next week, 2 winners, 1 loser, and it could be a really good week. But like I mentioned, 2 more trading weeks left of the year, and a lot can change in 2 weeks. You guys have also seen that some weeks we've hit 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. So we just got to see what happens. Obviously, we'll do the weekly Outlook stream on Sunday and the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, please put them in the channel in the Discord, because that will only benefit your guys' learning, and I want you guys to all learn as much as possible, especially because you've paid to be in it. That's my job, to help you learn. So hopefully you're all learning at the minute and are enjoying the daily videos that I do, the breakdowns. Obviously we're now incorporating live streams as well. We're also going to have the monthly review sessions for every month around the Christmas period, to obviously keep us active and get us fresh and ready and sharp for the upcoming year. But apart from that, we don't really have much else to cover. Obviously, the one last week, the stream was quite long because we had a lot to speak about with the revenge trade and stuff like that. But this week, it's been quite a boring week, but your trading should be boring. You shouldn't be going into a trading week thinking, oh yes, this is going to be a really exciting trading week. We've took 2 trades this week. One's a loser, this one doing whatever. And it's just, that's how it is. If you get into the point where your trading starts to be boring, you're doing something right. But if anyone has any questions, I'll answer them. If not, I will speak to you all on Sunday, because I don't want to waste your guys' time. I don't want to waste my time just speaking about nothing, as there's not actually that much to cover. So does anyone have any questions before I end this? Or are we all good? Or are we all saving questions for Sunday? Okay, that's fine then. I'll speak to you all on Sunday. Have a great weekend. Obviously enjoy it with family, friends. Christmas is coming up. Sometimes there's more important stuff than the charts. So yeah, have a good weekend, and I will speak to you all on Sunday. Thank you.